On the cover of last week's bulletin, which I decided to bring up again, because last week was a long time ago, was a picture of an ancient stone carving. It was one interpretation of Matthew's famous story of the wise men. Mostly in paintings and innumerable drawings, we see them astride their camels. But here, they are lying side by side in a bed with their crowns on, one of my favorite parts. They share a kind of a quilt. Beside the bed is an angel who sits with one finger pointing toward the sky, while another finger touches that of one of the kings. The angel doesn't speak. Instead, she is a dream conductor, through which God intrudes into the lives of the unsuspecting. Clearly, the artist's attention has been caught by the very last sentence of that story. And, having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. Because of the dream, they took another path, perhaps a more difficult one. The dream opens their eyes to a reality that they can't perceive in the waking world. If you look really carefully at the carving, at the picture, you can see how the eyes of one of the kings has popped open, a new awareness. Dreams are unbidden intrusions into our lives. Whether we go along with the poetic image of a messenger from God leaning beside our beds or not, dreams clearly come from somewhere beyond our reasonable, conscious selves. The Bible, to say the very least, is interested in unexpected intrusions into our lives from beyond. In fact, it specializes in chronicling holy intrusions that give us a glimpse of how our world looks from a God's eye perspective. Holy intrusions that we call dreams. Dreams happened to those wise visitors from the east. They happened to Jacob and Peter and Joseph and Cornelius and John and Gideon. They happen to us. When Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. presented his vision for the future of all race relations around the world and in this country as a dream, he wasn't just using a clever metaphor or an effective figure of speech. King was saturated in the Bible. He knew that his crusade was not the result of an individual genius or personal ambition or idealistic hope. Instead, it came as a holy intrusion into his life. It was, in the language of the Bible, a dream that would not leave him and will not leave us alone. Today, this morning, I'd like to quote from portions of one of the last sermons King ever gave. It was on Christmas Eve, 1967. I was just barely born. This season, he begins, finds us a rather bewildered human race. We have neither peace within, nor peace without. Everywhere, paralyzing fears harrow people by day and haunt them by night. And yet, my friends, the hope for peace and goodwill towards humankind cannot be dismissed as a pious dream of some utopian. If we don't have goodwill toward all in this world, we will destroy ourselves by the misuse of our own weapons and our own power. He continues as if speaking to us directly today. If we are to have peace on earth, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. Our loyalties must transcend our race, our tribe, our class, and our nation. This means we must develop a world perspective. No individual can live alone. No nation can live alone. And as long as we try, the more we are going to have war and violence in this world. Now, the judgment of God is upon us. And we must either learn to live together as brothers and sisters, or we are all going to perish together as fools. And now the dream. In 1963, on a sweltering August afternoon, we stood in Washington, D.C. and talked to the nation of many things. Toward the end of that afternoon, I tried to talk to the nation about a dream I had had. And I must confess to you today that not long after talking about that dream, I started seeing it turn into a nightmare. I remember the first time that the dream turned into a nightmare. Just a few weeks after I had talked about it. It was when 4 beautiful, unoffending, innocent Negro girls were murdered in a church in Birmingham, Alabama. I watched that dream turn into a nightmare as I moved among the ghettos of the nation and saw my black brothers and sisters perishing on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of prosperity. And I saw the nation doing nothing to grapple with the Negro's problem of poverty. I saw that dream turn into a nightmare as I watched my black brothers and sisters in the midst of anger and understandable outrage, in the midst of their hurt, amidst of their disappointment, turn to misguided riots to try to solve that problem. Yes, I am personally the victim of deferred dreams, of blasted hopes. But in spite of that, I close today by saying I still have a dream. Because you know you can't give up on life. If you lose hope, somehow you lose that vitality that keeps life moving. If you lose that courage to be, that quality that helps you go on despite of all. And so today, I still have a dream. I have a dream that one day people will rise up and come to see they are made to live together as brothers and sisters. I still have a dream this morning that one day every Negro in this nation, every colored person in this world, will be judged on the basis of the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. And every person will respect the dignity and worth of human personality. I still have a dream that one day the idle industries of Appalachia will be revitalized and the empty stomachs of Mississippi will be filled. I still have a dream today that one day justice will roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. I still have a dream today that in all of our state houses and city halls and Oval Offices, people will be elected to go there who will do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with their God. I still have a dream that with this faith we will be able to adjourn the councils of despair and bring new light into the dark chambers of pessimism. With this faith, we will be able to speed up the day when there will be peace on earth and goodwill toward all. It will be a glorious day. The morning stars will sing together, and the children of God will shout for joy. It's hard to believe that these words are 50 years old, that the riots and poverty to which King refers remain so much a part of our landscape, that in the United States of America the color of one's skin still, for the most part, determines the kind of life one will lead and the kind of opportunities one will have. This nightmare is not over. And so I pray this morning that with God's help, this particular community will continue to confront the stubborn evil in our midst with courage and steadfast love for all of God's children. As Christians, as dreamers, we must put on the full armor of God and do our part to end this nightmare. I'm not saying amen because I want to invite us to stand.
Amen.
And sing one of King's favorite songs, Take My Hand, Precious Lord. It's on page 800 of the Green Hymnal, verses 1 and 3.